Hey, I'm Jesse. Let's have a devotion. We're going to look at another prophecy in Daniel 9 that we see a fulfillment for in the book of Revelation. Let's look for like the thousandth time at Daniel 9:27. He will make a firm covenant with many for 1 week, but in the middle of the week, he will also put a stop to sacrifice and offering, and the abomination of desolation will be on a wing of the temple until the decreed destruction is poured out on the desolator. Then, Revelation 13, we could see the beast as prophesied, proclaiming himself to be God. It deceives those who live on the earth because of the signs that it is permitted to perform in the presence of the beast, telling those who live on the earth to make an image of the beast who was wounded by the sword and yet lived. It was permitted to give breath to the image of the beast, so that the image of the beast could both speak and cause whoever would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. So on this one, we see the massive deception once again, and I don't want to overly emphasize this point. It's based on signs and wonders. It's based on proof, and in fact, it seems like the ultimate proof. It seems like a resurrection story to those who are deceived by it. He was wounded by the sword and yet lived. Notice this. He tells those who live on the earth to make this image, according to Revelation 13:14. So let's talk about this image of the beast. It was permitted to give breath to the image of the beast, so that the image of the beast could both speak and cause whoever would not worship the image of the beast to be killed. This is creepy. So based on verse 14, the image of the beast is man-made. It's made by the people who worship it. They've made something that can kill them. And it's creepy that it would be given breath. And this speaks to the idea of this image of the beast coming to life. And we haven't talked much about this particular aspect of it. We have talked about the fact that it's a talking idol. But recent advancements technologically give rise to speculation. Is this some sort of computer-based thing that is imbued with the consciousness of the beast and is also somehow equipped with the ability to kill people that don't worship it? Is this thing, traditionally it's just a graven image. It's made with human hands either way. And is it somehow made animate, right? Is it similar to the deception of the fire from heaven and the seeming resurrection story? Or is this more akin to the miracles of Jannes and Jambres, the attendants in Pharaoh's court, who were able to, on a small scale, imitate even the miracles that Moses was demonstrating with the staff? Okay, do you remember in the plagues of Exodus? We've got Jannes and Jambres, who are not named in Exodus. This is the name that Paul seems to ascribe to them by way of tradition in his epistles. And they're trying to outdo God and trying to match God, and they're trying to use signs and wonders in an attempt to replicate their own version, or try to feign the power of God. They never do it. They never help anything. In fact, all they can do is imitate the plagues that God pours out, thereby actually making the situation worse. Now, they eventually just give up and disappear and go away. They're never heard from again, but they also never apologize. They never recant. The enemy, don't expect an apology from the devil. Okay, don't expect those whose hearts are hardened and sealed unto idolatry to recant, because they're too invested. It costs them too much. Right? They've said things that they can't ever go back on, and there's no contrition in their heart. There's no humility whereby they could confess sin, repent from sin, and turn around. Their consciences are seared as with a hot iron. And so these people are somehow managing to deceive the masses with this thing that is given breath. And what's creepy about that is that we see creation begin just with the breath of God, by God's speech, for example, which we, of course, having the breath of life in us and having been made in the image of God, associate with, well, just proper breath. But whether that's in the image of God or if it's an attribute metaphysically of gods. The idea is that God then breathes that life into creation. He breathes directly into Adam's nostrils. Adam's not Adam until God breathes life directly into him. And we see that this image of the beast, which was made by these people, you'd think that they wouldn't fall for it because they made it with their own hands, but they will. They do. And we have. We end up bowing down and worshiping things that we made with our own hands. And all the better if it can seem to have some semblance of sentience to it, some form of life in it. I think it's partly why we really enjoy the company of animals that are social like us. It's why people love dogs and maybe kind of like cats. It's why of all the weirdest pets out there, like the African gray parrot will live for like 100 years with an IQ probably bigger than that of your child, and can speak, or at least seem to speak. It just imitates sounds back at us, and it can imitate full sentences. It's really remarkable. People like this about pets. So just imagine how they feel about their idols. This is not just some distant God out there. This is one that can talk to me. You see? And this is one that I can touch with my hand, I can see with my eyes, I can observe with my senses. I even watched it kill the guy in line in front of me. And so everything that they wanted from God but have not been given for a lack of faith on their part, they seem to get in this image, this idolatrous proxy for the devil. And so you'd think that they should be onto it. The jig is up. That the blueprints are out there, and yet they still fall for it because it seems imbued with breath like us. The beast could, the image of the beast could speak, right? This was unheard of. This is used to mock idols throughout the New Testament and the Old Testament. They're called mute idols in a mockery. Like, you made this statue with your hands and it doesn't talk, man. Why are you bowing down to it? Well, the stakes seem to be raised. The temptation to worship this particular idol is obviously heightened, and it seems to have not the breath of life. This is something else. It also has the ability to speak. And this was the domain exclusively of those made in the image of God. We are the stewards of creation. We are the only species on earth that is made in the image of God. So we're the only species that can actually speak. Right? The African gray parrot is admired because it seems to speak. And that's similar to what's happening here with this giant image, whatever it may be. Whether it's a screen, there's got to be something going on that allows it to execute people who refuse to bow down, which means that it also seems to be able to either communicate or think Wizard of Oz, there's a man behind the curtain. Whatever the case is, people fall for this thing. They make it with their own hands, and then they bow down to it because they mistake it for something from God. They think that everything that they've wanted from God and haven't gotten, the ability, can I just see you, God? Could you just prove your existence to me? Could you just answer me audibly, God? They seem to get everything that they've wanted from God out of this beast and his idolatrous image. But the truth of the matter is that they are betrayed, they are lied to, they're deceived. And you'd think that they should know this because they built it with their own hands all along. Now, none of this catches God off guard. All right, the abomination of desolation is on the wing of the temple. He's already, the beast at this point in Revelation has already established himself as God. He's proclaimed himself to be God. And you can't, not only must you worship him within the laws of his Babylonian style government, but not only does he insist upon it, but you can't participate in the economy unless you do. This is dictatorial control, and it's way too far. And it's all been prophesied by Daniel, and here is its fulfillment in Revelation. But I want to talk about this fact that people will bow down to things that they made with their own hands. It's remarkable that one person would fall for this because they made it themselves. They know where the power comes from. But it feels like everything they've wanted from God and haven't gotten, they're getting from this idol, this image, whether it's a talking statue, whether it's an animatronic statue, whether it's an AI image on a screen that just helps the Antichrist get more evil done in a day. uh, Here's what I want to talk about. The biblical principle at play is also something to which you and I can be susceptible to a degree, that we can make things with our own hands and then become beholden to them, that we can spend our money on things that end up owning us. Guard your heart from idolatry because it's incredibly sneaky. And this is going to be really effective. It's going to deceive people from every nation. Everyone's going to fall for this thing. So don't underestimate this. Reading verses 14 and 15, straight from the word of God, it seems like a no-brainer. Don't bow down to that image, even if it costs you your life. But in the moment, it's going to be hard to resist. It's going to seem like peer pressure. It's going to seem like a no-brainer. And it's going to seem like everything that they've wanted from God, they finally now have. God, if you could just peel back the clouds now, roll back the sky like a scroll now, let us just see your face and then everybody will worship you. Well, the problem with that is that we can't look at God because we wouldn't survive it. We can't touch God because we wouldn't survive it. We can't do those things because God is spirit, he is holy, and he is just. God is not one that you can reach out and touch because you and I have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. God warned Moses of this. No one can see my face and live. So beware the propensity, beware the strong temptation to bow down to something of your own making. Check your heart toward your possessions. Do you find that the things that you've built with your own hands now own you? And now you've got to work as long as it takes to pay for this thing? The car that you bought, is it paid off yet? All right, or does it own you? The bank actually holds the deed to the car, and now you're working like a slave to pay for the car that takes you to the job. Beware the propensity to bow down to things made by human hands. Guard your heart from idolatry, because there's more to it than just bending the knee to a statue. It's also thinking that you've found something in this idol that God has been holding back on you.